Good day, everybody. Brian here from quantlabsnet.com. In this video, I'm going to get back into the programming stuff. I'll talk about at the end what I'm doing with the YouTube channel. Anyways, this article here, thanks to somebody who usually sends me stuff, this was really good. efinancialcareers.com. And thanks to that person for sending this. Citadel Securities, new coding gurus suggest you need to get with C++ 26. Um, So Citadel in the financial field, namely in the algo trading, automated trading, high frequency trading, use C++. Big users. So Herb Sutter, we'll get into who he is. He's pretty notorious in the industry of C++. Was hired by Microsoft for C++. So he left in November for probably way better pay at Citadel Securities. So they have training initiatives. And he's leading that at Citadel Securities to advocate for the language. Now, C++ is out there. It's going to be staying out there. I know there's a lot of development with Rust, but if you want to be well paid in this field, it's going to be pretty hard to knock out C++ due to the regulation or to the legacy systems a lot of these firms have. And you'll know what I mean as we get into the article. So C++ 26, which is the latest, coming out next year, is going to change the C++ game, declares Sutter. It says writing modern C++ meant everything from coding C++ 11, and he says that the coding in 26 and beyond is going to change it again. It'll be more efficient, reliable, and resilient with features like reflection, basically the ability to examine and modify its own structure. Standard execution provides a framework for managing asynchronous execution, and contracts, which would provide interfaces for software components. Now, it's also going to greatly change, not only here with a lot of these features from other languages, but in the past few years, a lot of firms, specifically even though White House got involved, saying C++ is not very secure because of its memory management. But with the new features, they've been addressed in the new version, and that's to obviously keep C++ relevant, but it still gives you the control of having your own memory management as well. So that's the big advantage with C++. One of the things I'm noticing a lot with languages like Python, even Java, the no code break policy has been thrown out. Not well, in the last 5 years for sure, but that was one of the big selling features of Java because you could go from Java 4, 5, 6 over, I don't know, 5, 10 years and have that code base that you've always had and it won't break. So now the Nimrods out there don't believe in quick iteration. And when you're using legacy code and then bring in a new version of the language, it breaks. And yes, they have their warnings they put out in the language, and you got to change it and you upgrade, let's say in the Python interpreter, and all of a sudden your code's not working. It's just from my perspective, it's not a smart way to evolve a language, but AI can help in a lot of ways if you do it right, know how to do it right, which I'm doing for the code generation, or they call it vibe coding. But you still got to be proficient in language as well, whatever you're using, to be able to develop a large monolithic kind of application. I think the future will be where um, a lot of code will be in smaller, self-containing projects like microservices. C++ is different, but it may evolve there as well. But anyways, let's go on with the article. Citadel uh, secures ahead of the 26 application implementation. Banks, games are famously slow to introduce a new version of the coding language. And likely to be laggards. Most banks are stuck on C++ 17, which is not that long ago, and they're probably slowly implementing 20, and then you have 23, and then you have this new one coming out, 26, which is going to radically change yet again the language with these new features. So what do you do? Like, what do you implement with? Um, obviously, if it's that game changing from the likes of Herb Sutter, then yeah, maybe go and start 26, even though it's not mainstream yet. It doesn't make sense to go 20, 23 um, as well. So here, JP Morgan, Electronic Making Group has, however, recently been advertising rules evolving C++ 20. So that's what I was saying is that big banks now obviously are moving to C++ 20, suggests that JP Morgan is not out of date as in the past when it was stuck on Python 2 for years after tech firms moved to Python 3. So here's the problem. If you're JP Morgan, the largest bank in the world, staying on C++ 20, they will stay lagging behind 23 and version 26. So what do you do with these quick iterations? Obviously, it changes your coding style, company's coding strategy, and again, then there's we'll call it the new paradigm with AI and what to do with that because it's totally different. The AI is so advanced as well, and it can do a lot of the different language versions pretty good. C++ is officially launched. Seems highly unlikely in banking, though. Okay, that's fair enough. You need to look at cool AI and HFT startups for that. So there you go. That's what you got to do. So if you want the legacy companies paying well, you're going to be stuck in the old world. So it depends what you do. It's no different than the startups or staying in the legacy companies. So who's this Herb Sutter guy? He's new. So again, this is from November 2024. Special job for Herb Sutter, programming language nerd. He knows his stuff. He's got a couple of books that have been out for years. He kind of sets a standard in C++ in a lot of ways. Well, he's at least heavily influential. He likes different new languages, old languages, but there's one programming language that Sutter likes above all, C++, and Citadel just hired him from Microsoft. So he must be making the big bucks. Oh yeah, let's take a look at the comment here. Congratulations and good luck, Herb, from a C++ enthusiast who's trying to quit. You can tell that's probably somebody a lot older. I'm sure that the paycheck at Citadel is sumptuous. Highly doubt that they will adopt a standard which has not been finished yet, alone implemented by any compiler vendor. So yeah, you got to watch. That's the other big thing. You got to watch the open source compilers, the GCC, and also the mainstream ones like the Microsoft C compiler as well. So yeah, the standardization can take a couple of years after. So the compiler is building new features with a new version. Can take a couple of years after standardization. So regarding the banks, oh my God, I have seen things that you wouldn't believe. Some code bases were stuck in an old C++ standard was the least of their problems. So again, they could be stuck in C++ 11 and 17 as we just talked about. So let's go to this other article with Herb Sutter. So he's moved over to Citadel and he's probably making good money. That's why he moved. And believe me, I'm sure Microsoft probably paid him really well as well. But if Ken Griffin of Citadel, the founder, wants somebody that he'll pay, he will pay. Um, so this guy's also led the ISO C++ Standards Committee for more than two decades. Decade chair of the Standard C++ Foundation. So this guy's heavily influential in this space of C++ and where it goes. In recognition of his extensive C++ expertise, Sutter is joining Citadel as the firm's first technical fellow. Um, it's kind of like an approach at the universities, probably getting well paid for not a lot of work, more advising. Good for him, though. Banks have technical fellows and distinguished engineers who are typically subject matter experts rather than managers of large team of developers. So Citadel um, feels uh, feels that he's important. They hire him and whatnot. So he's going to lead the training initiatives and helping firm engage with the language. He'll also be continuing his roles with the committees and foundations that he's part of. Uh, so in his blog, he says he's thrilled about the new job and advising the technical strategy and mentoring Citadel Securities. So Sutter has been out of finance, so I didn't know this. I didn't realize he was in it. 80s and 90s has gone back full circle. Obviously, electronic. So Citadel's an electronic market making firm. Again, futures and options. That's why I've been doing it very heavily for the last few weeks to months on my channel. Because that's if you want to really make big bucks, going to portfolio manager, knowing the futures and option, and adding on your coding skills and quant skills. So that's where I'm going with the groups that I'm reactivating on my website at quantlabsnet.com. If you want to know more kind of about that, all you got to do is just go to quantlabsnet.com and just look for the Learn tab at the top and get in on that. And I don't release any information. And then you will be in the email sequences wanting to see if you want to become a member of the site, which will give you access to a new group I just posted as well. Continuing along here, we've got he was a performance computing engineer with experience working on large scale distributed cloud computing powered computing in Miami and Zurich. He was a senior engineer working on trading platforms in New York. So this guy, Herb Sutter, knows his stuff. So he's had a passion to simplify the language and reduces complexity, and it's more accessible to the next generation of engineers. So here he's saying he wants to see more C++, and he's also involved with Rust as well in universities. Obviously, it's really, I guess, Java and Python's push more, um, but both programming languages need to be taught more, he thinks. Rust is an interesting language as well. New, it's becoming the up and coming uh, enterprise language as well. When you look at what Linux creator founder has done with Linus, he's actually rewritten parts of the Linux kernel in Rust as well. He's not a big fan of Linus is not a big fan of C++, but it's interesting to take the features of C++ in Rust and then put them with C to write the Linux kernel as well, just so you know. C++ is here to stay. I firmly agree with that. And Citadel Securities just hired the best person to teach its employees and how to use it to maximum effect. So imagine if you're working at Citadel, you're now able to kind of work very closely or be, I don't know, mentored, trained, whatever you want, by an internal source now by this guy. Working in that firm would be pretty mind blowing, and they're still one of the top payers in the field as well. As I said, you want to know more with what I'm doing, just come over to the Learn tab, quantlabsnet.com. Here's what's happening with the site. I am just learned that the forum will be shutting down, not my choosing. So all this stuff you may have seen, may have not seen, is going to get shut down. And they're going to push the groups, which I've also had before the forums, and now I'm going back to the groups. So what I've done now to push the groups out, what I've done is this group right here, quantlabsnet.com, public group. I made that available to anyone. Anyone could join it and be part of our website. And one other thing as well, because it gets kind of confusing. What I'm choosing to do, if you go into the group here, you read this newest article. Was the U.S. financial system ready to blow up? There's going to be a ton of people that don't care about that on the YouTube channel. A lot of people that don't care about that on the website. So what I've done is the investment talk, we'll call it, is going to go on to the Substack. And then I'm going to add in the discussion. People are very engaging on Substack. And as well, I'm going to try to push more of this group as well to get people interested as well. So this is all um, kind of clean, and it's not going to be distracted with the shiny new toys that you'll find on things like Discord and Telegram as well. So that's what's going on. And again, if you want to know more, just join the group here or join the email as I hinted at the tab, Learn tab as well at quantlabsnet.com. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.